Sometimes your family may have your best interest when it comes to a relationship, but as you get older, that tends to change. You should know how to pick and choose your battles between your relationship and between your family. But before we get into it, give me the free freebies. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm your host for the Firm and Fair podcast, The Spencer Perspective, and we have work to do. Let's get to it. I'll be sure to leave a link in the low bar so that you're able to take a look at this article if you would like on Reddit. But the title of this article is My 24 Female Boyfriend's 25 Male. Mom invited us over for dinner, family dinner, but his grandparents don't like me. I'll tell you this much. When it comes to relationships, the parents and the grandparents' opinion, they actually don't matter as much as you think it does. As long as your partner is with you, and they're actually engaging you, encouraging you, I would say, fuck them. Okay? But let's take a look at this. Backstory. My boyfriend and I have been together for over 2 years. I've had dinner with his mom, dad, and sister many times, but only once with his grandparents, father's side included. After the first time we had dinner with his grandparents, we were both invited to Thanksgiving dinner with all of them, but I was uninvited later on. His mom told my boyfriend it was because his grandparents don't like me. The excuse was because they're more traditional and don't like how we are living together before marriage, and that his grandfather gets uncomfortable around new people. Okay. But I'm not sure how true all of that is. I'm still salty about that situation, to be honest. The whole being in uninvited part. After that, I was invited to his mom's birthday dinner with his grandparents included, and I told my boyfriend I wasn't going because I didn't want to make his grandparents uncomfortable. By the way, his mom also had a bad history with her spouse's parents. Now his mom has invited us over for dinner again with his grandparents, and I said I wouldn't go because I was busy, in parentheses, but I'm not. I just don't want to go to dinner where not everyone wants me there, close parentheses. I have spoken to his grandparents about this before. Am I rude for declining dinner with them again? We've had dinners with them before, but without his grandparents. Should I have accepted to go for dinner with them? In my opinion, if you're asking for advice, it's actually solicited advice. No, you're not wrong. You don't have to interact with people that don't want to interact with you. First impressions mean so much. Second and third, that much more. When it comes down to it, the moment someone shows you their hand, those people, they showed their hand. I'm pretty sure it has nothing to do with the fact that you're living together before marriage. No, it's underlying issues and whatnot, but you can't change their minds. You shouldn't try. Your boyfriend shouldn't have to either. It's his decision. That's his family. That's who he grew up with. He's a young man as well too. So, usually when you're younger, you're gonna side with the family before you side with your actual partner or someone you're in a relationship with. That tends to happen a whole lot more when you're younger. When you become older, I promise your boyfriend and you will change your stance. You will be like, fuck them. Because guess what? They're not in this relationship. You are. So when it comes down to it, their opinion means this much. This much. The reason why I have it open just a little bit is to make room for that little violin that we all love to talk about. That's it. Because as soon as they start talking, these hands go together real fast. I play like a Stradivarius real fast. Because whatever you got to say, it don't mean nothing to me. It brushes right off of me. You're young as well, too. You're only in your mid-20s. You have a lot of life to live. You've been together for 2 years. At this rate, you haven't really lived life. You haven't had a lot of situations come at you where you're able to handle them just a little bit more better. This is an opportunity. You stood up for yourself, and you didn't do bad at all. To that, I say, hey, for what it's worth, because you stood up for yourself. And for damn sure, when it comes down like that, not even him, not his grandparents, not even the parents, anytime someone in the future tries to disregard you from your relationship for any reason, and the boyfriend doesn't stand up for you, that's the issue. I remember this one time when I was in college. I was about 19 years old. And, I grew up in a pretty strict household myself. One day when I was hanging out with my girlfriend at the time, I guess something went wrong throughout the night, not with her, but between me and my parents. I guess I didn't do something fast enough for them or on time for them. Do you know how they try to punish me? And this is a true story because I told it to one other person and they know that this to be true. But they try to punish me by telling me that I could not take my girlfriend home. Now, I was raised to be a gentleman by my parents. I'm usually, for the most part, a gentleman. I'm more of a jackass now, but I'm still, still strands of gentleman in me. For those who live in New York City, this is where I was living. I was living in Stapleton, Staten Island. She lived in East New York, Brooklyn. Anybody that knows New York City well enough, they know how much of a trek that is. If you don't know how much of a trek it is, let me illustrate how far this trip was. From my door to a bus. From the bus, I had to take a boat. I'm not kidding, a boat over water. After you take the boat over water, you have to go to Manhattan. Then you take the 3 train or the 1 train. Take the 1 train to the 3 or walk to the 3, whatever your pleasure. After you get to the 3 train, you get off at the last stop. You're at the first stop in Manhattan. You get off at the last stop in Brooklyn. Then from there, I got to take a bus. So I got to take a bus to a boat, to a train, to a bus. That's 4 pieces of transportation, totaling over about an hour and 45 minutes, maybe 2 hours, depending. I didn't like that at all. And even though I let her go home that night, my relationship with my parents changed for the worse from then on in. I actually had an argument with them about that. It's not a privilege for me to take my girlfriend home. It's actually a duty. I need to make sure that she gets home safely. For them to be that small-minded, to send a woman home by herself, I don't know. It always left a bad taste in my mouth after the fact. You stood up for yourself, and I'm proud of that. Continue doing it. If your partner doesn't stand up for you, what do you really have? But let's take a look at some of the comments. Oh my goodness. Jesus, this is a long one. I'm only going to read this one because it's beefy. There's a lot here, but off the bat, I'm sorry you're dealing with it. When you first need to realize is that they don't actually not like you in the sense of who you are as a person, whether or not you're a good partner to their grandson. They have an archaic and outdated mindset. Fair enough. While people might say that they're just wrong, which they are, the hard truth is they're not going to change how they feel. Yeah, exactly. Let's just wrap this up from here. That comment is too long. You didn't do anything wrong. You did the right thing. Your partner needs to be there for you in those times. If he wasn't there for you, that's a whole other discussion. But it looks like you're already doing better. I'm doing better. We all are. This is the Firm and Fair Podcast, and I'm out.